What's up, Jay?
What is going on, Mike? How you doing?
I'm good.
I'm also well. We had a great podcast last time. Had a special guest. We talked about all about the movie, and then we talked about Wanda, Doctor Strange, and the Multiverse of Madness. But we left off a ton of stuff. There's so many cool things, different things that we didn't have a chance to talk about that we definitely need a whole podcast to cover. Pretty much what this podcast is designed to do, which is answer your questions about some Marvel movies.
Yeah, it's mostly characters, but there's a little bit of stuff thrown in there too.
There's a lot of stuff. So when you're ready, Mike, you just toss it at me, and I'll just try to do the best I can with it.
All right, let's start off where the movie starts off, and that's with America Chavez.
Got it.
She's new to the MCU. I don't know anything about her. What's up?
She came around the comics in 2011. The most important thing that people need to know about her is that she is part of a group of people called the Young Avengers. So in the last podcast, our guest author talked about...
First time I heard about the Young Avengers was when we were doing our Loki podcasts.
Yes.
And you brought that up with Lady Loki.
Yeah, there's a lot of theory that the Marvel MCU is trying to build up to Young Avengers, and I mean, this pretty much solidifies it. We have America Chavez. We had Yelena from Hawkeye. You have Sylvie from Loki. We have Wanda's children, Billy and Tommy. We have the young man from Falcon and Winter Soldier. I forget his name, but we've seen a lot of Young Avengers in the different shows. So eventually, we'll go and see them on the big screen. And America Chavez is one of those people. Her powers are pretty much what we saw in the movie. She can interdimensionally travel, and that's her big thing. That she also has some flighting abilities and stuff like that. But her main thing is
like super strength too, right?
Yeah, super strength, super speed, all that stuff. But her main thing is interdimensional travel, 100%.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty big thing.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, yeah,
you can go through universes.
Yeah, and I think because she is such a new character, she was created in 2011. It makes sense that her abilities and everything would be kind of closely aligned from the comics to the movie, and that's why it didn't really. I was actually pretty impressed how close they were.
Right. Cool. All right. She's being chased by a big monster.
Yes.
What's that monster?
His name is Gargantos.
Is it made up or is it from the comics?
No, it's from the comics. We actually talked about this before. I didn't know which one it would be, but it's definitely Gargantos. I think there was another creature who had more interdimensional history, but this is definitely Gargantos from something. It's just a big monster. It's nothing really worth talking about. It's a one-eyed big tentacle monster. You've probably seen them 1,000 times. No big deal.
Okay, cool. Now time for a thing. So, and this happens like later in the movie, but I just want to bring it up early on while we're talking about all this stuff. You've always told me that the MCU is in like Earth 199999 universe, right?
Yes.
In this movie, Dr. Christine Palmer tells us that all of this stuff is happening in Earth 616 universe.
Yes.
What happened?
Here's the deal. I don't know what they're doing. Okay, so if you look at the database that I use, it's called MarvelFandom.com, and everybody who's like been following this podcast, a lot of the shit that's come from like a Marvel database. It's like a Wikipedia for Marvel stuff. And basically, what they've said, they kind of they've named all the different universes. So whenever you check a character, you can see what universe they're from, which is very convenient. And they've called the Marvel Comics universe, the comic books, 616. And in the comic books, that's one central universe. And there's a bunch of split universes that they also have names for. But the actual original comics that started, officially with Fantastic Four #1 back in 1962, I think, is called 616. Now, I'm not sure in the movie why they called the MCU 616. It's completely wrong. It's canonically wrong. Anyone who reads comics and follows the movies knows it's wrong. I don't know why. Maybe they're trying to rename it. Maybe Marvel wants to try to do something on their own. But this is a typical thing where the fans have one theory and it's locked in. It's pretty hardcore versus what the movies and studios are doing, which is a bit different. This has happened before when Star Wars had a huge book series that fans loved, and when Disney bought Star Wars, they said the stuff that you love, all these different books and movies that you guys have watched before, is not canon. We're not going to accept it. So
I'm pretty sure I've seen mention of like the 199999 universe on Marvel's website before too.
I hope so, but I don't know. And as soon as she said it, I rolled my eyes. I was like, this is going to be something we got to talk about. But I think fans and listeners of this podcast should just accept the traditional Marvel database terminology. It's easier, and so whenever we talk about it on this podcast, we're going to call it the MCU, and then we'll make mention of the LA universes, because it can get real confusing real fast if we call both of them 616, which is not accurate at all.
Right. Okay. All right. The Darkhold. We saw that in WandaVision.
We did.
Anything else you want to tell us?
It's a big book of badness. A guy named Chethan. I think it's spelled his name Chthon. He created the Darkhold. Originally, it was written
like Chthon, I think is how.
Chthon. It's like well, a lot of the Cthulhu stuff. It's like you can't really say Cthulhu because of copyright stuff like that. But a lot of the stuff, whenever you see like Chthon and stuff like that, it's based off Cthulhu, like necromancy, leprechaun, like all that stuff is from Cthulhu. But the original Darkhold was written in human flesh, and then it was written in stone, and then it was written in pages. And we've already talked about the Darkhold a little bit. There's some cool comics that were kind of tied to it. The what was it called? The Midnight Suns was kind of tied to it back in the early '90s. And there's some other cool things about Darkhold, but it's been around for a while.
Yeah, it's interesting. When you first told me about the Darkhold, I was like, "Oh, is that like the Necronomicon from the Evil Dead series?" And here we are now with the Darkhold in a movie by the director of the Evil Dead series.
Yeah, it might be why he was so good at directing the movie and working with it, because of his history with the movie. Of course, this movie was made for Sam Raimi to make. It's so good.
Yeah,
but yeah, the Darkhold. It's a pretty bad book. In the comics, guess where the Darkhold is currently in the comics, Mike? Guess where?
I'm gonna say it's in another galaxy.
It is actually infused with the Scarlet Witch currently. So she actually has it infused inside of her. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Did not expect that.
Yeah, and in the movies, apparently the Scarlet Witch, Wanda destroyed all copies of the Darkhold in every universe, which is pretty dramatic, but it's fine. Again, I think the reason why they did that is to cement the idea that Wanda was being manipulated by the Darkhold in some ways, and that it wasn't completely all her fault. It could have worked.
I did hear another podcast talking about that, and that's like yet another point to what Arthur was telling us earlier this week, is how this is characteristic for Wanda.
Yeah.
Because not only all of the stuff Arthur talked about, but also they made it kind of clear in the movie, and I just didn't really pick up on it, that she's being corrupted by the Darkhold.
Yeah.
And later in the movie, when America shows her family or her kids, and it kind of snaps her out of it, she says, I would never hurt anybody. Like, she hasn't done all of the murders that we saw in the movie up until that point.
Exactly.
Because she was like under some kind of a control by the Darkhold, and she wasn't really aware of all of that murder and gore that she was responsible for.
Yeah, we'll just, I don't know. I still have some conflicting feelings about that. But anyway, that's the Darkhold. We gotta keep going. Right. We got so many good. We got so much.
Book of Vishanti. It's like the good version of the Darkhold.
Yeah, so it's kind of. I mean, the technical term I think they call it is white magic. It was first seen in Strange Tales number 116 in October 1963. It is what it is. I mean, you have the Darkhold, which is good. You have the Book of Vishanti, which is bad. Apparently, the Book of Vishanti has infinite amount of pages. I don't know what that means. But it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's that? Man. I don't know. It's interesting. Doctor Strange used this book as a spell to detect if the Avengers were scrolls or not in a comic a while ago. It didn't actually work because there was a scroll among them, but it's fine. But I actually had that comic. I actually read that comic. So the Book of Vishanti is one of those kind of things that Doctor Strange has and he uses every once in a while.
All right. Is there anything more you want to tell us about Tommy and Billy and like the Young Avengers?
Not particularly. So
they're members of the Young Avengers.
Yes,
in
they
the
are.
comics?
So I'm going to do this as efficiently as I can. We've talked about this
Okay.
before. Wanda created Tommy and Billy out of kind of thin air, out of chaos magic back in the day. It turned out that they were like pieces of a devil's soul. I think if I'm probably mistaken on this, but I know that at some point the children were taken away, and but when the children's souls were taken away by Mephisto, they actually, according to the comics, they actually weren't gone. They actually were born by different people. So a group of two parents had one of them, as two parents had another one. It had Billy and one had Tommy, and so basically their souls existed because of Wanda in the comics. And eventually they find out that she's the mother, and it all kind of works out. But in the comics, we had superpowers, and they were a part of the Young Avengers. Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us who else was in the Young Avengers with them?
Yeah, I can get you a list real quick.
Okay, all right. While you're doing that, I'm just going to talk about my next one. I mean, even I know who this guy is, but maybe there's some stuff you want to tell us about it. You know, I don't read comic books.
First, let me give you the list. Are you ready?
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Hawkeye led the team for a while, but then he stopped. No, I'm sorry. Hawkeye, Kate Bishop ran the team for a while.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, that makes more sense.
There was a guy named Patriot, and Patriot was the son of the first Captain America, the second Captain America, who was a black Captain America, who we saw in Falcon and Winter Soldier. We saw him, and we saw his son.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Got that. There's a guy named Iron Lad. You might remember me talking about this during the Loki series. Iron Lad is a young Kang from the future who comes to the present to become a superhero.
Okay. I don't like that name.
Okay. Iron Lad, you don't like that?
Yeah, it's like it's Kang, but his name's Iron Lad. Iron Lad clearly should be associated with Iron Man somehow.
Okay. There's a guy, the Speed, who is, I think, Tommy, and Wiccan, which is Billy. There's a guy named Marvel Boy, who is a Kree superhero. There's a guy named Prodigy, which I do not know who he is. And there's a guy named Hulkling, which has ties to the Incredible Hulk. I'm not sure exactly how that works.
Should. See, that name makes sense. He's called Hulkling, and he's associated with the Incredible Hulk. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot. These characters, there were a lot of them, and they were very popular too. People liked them a lot. At this point in the comics, they're adults,
right? Okay, but not when they were in the Young Avengers. They were young.
They were like 15, 16, like close to 19, something like that.
Okay. Yep. All right. So next up, I know who this guy is. I'm not a comic book reader, but I still know who he is. I've probably seen cartoons with him in it. I've definitely seen movies with him in it. What else do you want to tell the people about Mr. Fantastic?
Oh, dude, where can I start? So, Mr. Fantastic, he originally came from this is from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in August 1961. The reason why Fantastic Four #1 is so important is because it was the first comic that kind of kickstarted the Silver Age. So there are three different ages of comics. There's the Golden Age that was created in the 30s with Captain America and some other characters. There's the Silver Age that started off with the Fantastic Four in 1961. The Silver Age lasted, I think, up until the 90s, and then it was called the Modern Age. In the Modern Age, I think the present age is called the Heroic Age. So it's been several different ages. And so it's a Fantastic Four kind of kicks off that, and everybody knows the members of the Fantastic Four. You got Reed Richards of Mr. Fantastic. You got Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, the Invisible Girl, who changes to the Invisible Woman, and then marries Mr. Fantastic, and she becomes Susan Richards. You got Johnny Storm, which is her brother, and then you got Ben Grimm, which is the Thing, his Mr. Fantastic's best friend. The four join up as a team after an accident that was Mr. Fantastic's fault. They become superheroes. The thing about Mr. Fantastic is he has stretchy powers, and he's super brilliant, super smart. And the Mr. Fantastic is pretty cool as far as like I like him as a character. I don't think his powers translate very well to the screen, but it's not.
I liked
too
it.
bad.
I thought it looked good.
Okay. I don't think it. It's not like comics are supposed to be fantasy fulfillment. I don't want to stretch like that. Like that's not something I want to do.
Well, Mrs. Incredible also stretched, and I thought it worked well in those movies too. So,
well, if you're wait, what's that? Oh, those what was the show called?
Pixar, The Incredibles.
Yeah, I never watched that.
Oh, it's good. You should watch that. Especially as a comic book fan. I mean, it's like it's very pays honor to comic books.
Okay,
movies.
But anyway, so Mr. Fantastic, one of the most important things in relation to this movie is that he created the Illuminati after the Kree-Skrull War. Long story short, the Krees and the Skrulls are space aliens that fought. Earth got in the mix of it. The Earth's mightiest heroes, the superheroes, fought both Kree and the Skrull. They were able to stop the war. But then afterwards, Mr. Fantastic was like, hey, we need to have like a secret group of people that can stop these threats before it happens. T'Challa was one of the people that was recruited, but he turned it down. He thought it was a bad idea. And then the Illuminati was formed anyway, and it caused a whole bunch of craziness.
Is he the guy that built those silver robots in the movie?
That's a great question. I'm going to say yes and no. Could Mr. Fantastic build those robots? Yes. However, if you watch the movie, which you did, the robots did refer to themselves as Ultron, which is something that was created by Tony Stark in the MCU. But in the comics, Ultron was created by Pym. What's his name? What's his first name?
Hank Pym.
Hank Pym. Thank you. Oh, wow. You're good. That's good, Mike. Hank Pym.
I'm learning from you.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of different discrepancies. I think that Iron Man, my theory, my fan theory is that Iron Man was a part of the Illuminati at some point in that world and created the Ultron robots, but I don't know.
Yeah, man, everybody was so wrong about Tom Cruise being in this movie.
But I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have been surprised if he showed up. I mean, we had a bunch of guest stars, so.
Yeah, but now that the movie's out, Marvel's coming out and getting quotes from everybody about how they talked about that early on, but it was never going to happen.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Tom Cruise would have cost them the whole budget of the movie just to have him show up. And plus, Tom Cruise has a brand. I don't think he wants to tarnish that brand. He doesn't. Right. He wants to control. He wants to do the Mission Impossibles. He wants to do the Maverick stuff. So, right. But anyway, as you can see in the movie,
go ahead.
Well, Mr. Fantastic was brutally killed by Wanda in the movie. Will John Krasinski come back? Yeah, will he come back as Mr. Fantastic? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I say yes.
I don't know.
I would put money on it.
After my mistake with Wanda in the movie, I'm not going. I'm done with making predictions. I will just say I don't know.
I think he's going to be Reed Richards in the
bold
Fantastic Four movie.
That's bold.
And seems like there's a chance he might even direct that movie.
I'd watch it. All right, let's keep going.
All right, tell us about the rest of the Illuminati. So we've got after Reed Richards, we've got Maria Rambo.
So this is kind of complicated.
They just call her Captain Marvel in the movie, though.
Yeah, okay. The actress that played Maria Rambo in the movie, her name is, what's her name? I just had it.
I'm looking. I got the top cast up. I'm trying to see. Some reason she's not in the top cast.
Oh Lord, we're going to find her name anyway. Because she actually played it in the last James Bond movie as well. She actually did a really good job. So here's the problem.
That's Maria Rambo from the WandaVision TV series, right?
No. Maria Rambo is from Captain Marvel. She if you remember correctly,
Wait. Isn't that the same person?
Okay, I knew it was
Oh, no. Oh, okay. No, I'm getting mother and daughter confused.
The actress who played
Maria
Captain
Rambo
Marvel
is the mother.
Yes.
Monica Rambo was the adult woman daughter that we saw in WandaVision.
Yes. Okay, so Maria Rambo was in Captain Marvel. She's the best friend of Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, in the movie. She had a daughter, Monica. Okay. Now, flash forward to WandaVision. Monica, who's an adult now, was sitting at the bed of Maria before she died of cancer, but then she got blipped. She couldn't see it, blah, blah, blah. Now, that Maria never got Captain Marvel powers. However, in the Multiverse of Madness, we see her obviously is Captain Marvel. We don't know how she got those powers, and we don't know if it is Maria or Monica. We don't know who that is as far as a name because they never said her.
Yeah, they just say Captain Marvel.
Yeah, but in the comics, Monica Rambeau does become Captain Marvel at some point several times. So let's keep that straight. So the fact is, Rambeau being Captain Marvel has a rich tradition in Marvel Comics, and it's actually controversial because the Captain Marvel name is kind of controversial who gets to carry it and when they get to carry it. And so right now, Carol Danvers is Captain Marvel, but I wouldn't be surprised at some point, especially with the new movies and everything else, that Monica Rambeau will become Captain Marvel at some point. But regardless, it was a great fight scene with Captain Marvel versus Wanda. I thought it was like the power that we saw between the two of them was like kind of showed off. Captain Marvel almost won. There's some internet fussing about how she died because a statue collapsed on her. I could fan service that if I want to, but there's no point in it. But the point is, super fun to see that. I thought she did a great job.
So was the actress in this movie the same as the actress that played Maria Rambeau in the Captain Marvel movie?
Correct.
Okay, cool. All right.
Exact same one.
Who's next?
Captain Carter. We know Captain Carter. We talked about her a billion times. We saw her in What If, all this kind of stuff.
Wait. Maria Rambeau, we're never going to see her again because she's died in our universe.
I don't know. She's dead in the original MCU universe, but she can show up in some other film. Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Captain Carter.
Yes.
We loved her in What If.
Yep.
We get to see her live action with Haley Atwell in this movie.
Fun times.
I don't think we're going to see her ever again.
I definitely think we're going to see her again. Are you
kidding? So I would love to. Why are we going to see her again?
I think that people responded well to her when they saw her on screen. I don't think she's not a very. I don't think she's very expensive to get as an actress. I don't think her contract would be big. And I think in some ways we could probably see all the different characters that were part of the Illuminati. We will at some point see them again. Before I keep going, her name is Lashana Lynch. She plays Maria Rambeau. So I don't know, but I do think that Captain Carter, that was a fun scene. I like the fact that she went toe to toe with Wanda, even though she was underpowered, and we all knew what was going to happen.
I like how she said, "I can do this all day."
That was great.
Call back to our Chris Evans Captain America.
Yeah, it was just good.
And then she couldn't do it all day.
No, of course not. No way. No, Wanda's too powerful. But Captain Carter, or Captain America, or anybody who has that shield would have tried to stop her, would have fought as much as they can to stop her, no matter what.
Right. I don't know, man. I don't see. I mean, like I said, I'd love to see her in a new movie or TV show or something. I love Captain Carter. I think it's great.
Captain Carter was created solely from these TV projects. Like, she is not from the comics originally. So that's something that they own completely. I don't see them just saying, we want to get rid of it. We're going to see her again. What if? 100%. And we're going to see her.
What if? Yes. But you think live action will also see her again?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm here for it. But my thought was that out of all of these, we'll keep talking about more of them. But out of all of these Illuminati people, my thought was the only one that we'll see in a future movie or TV show is John Krasinski as Reed Richards / Mr. Fantastic.
I don't know. We'll see.
But so who's next? We get Professor X.
Mm-hmm. And this is fun because we could do a couple different theories here. I mentioned this in the last podcast when Professor X, who is played by Patrick Stewart, when he shows up, there is that classic X-Men sound from the cartoon is played lightly in the background.
Yeah, the theme, right?
The wheelchair is from the cartoon. Yeah, the wheelchair is from the cartoon, 100%. So one could argue that Professor X is the one from the cartoons. I don't want to go too deeply in that. But we've seen Patrick Stewart play Professor X before. What this movie kind of did was tell everybody, hey, the X-Men movies are different Marvel universes, just like we have one here. So if we're looking at a multiverse, then there is a multiverse where all the previous X-Men movies that are pretty good do exist in the tapestry of the multiverse. So there could be a place where we get to see that.
But notably for this universe, they didn't use the wheelchair that he uses in the other X-Men movies. They used the wheelchair from the official Marvel cartoon.
And that's definitely because the X-Men cartoon is coming out at some point. They want to kind of tie it all in. But I also thought it was interesting that to have Patrick Stewart play that role. He's definitely gotten old. He's up there now. But I thought the scene with him when he was in the Scarlet Witch's mind was really good. I thought it was a brilliant jump scare when she breaks his neck in his mind and in real life. I really liked Patrick Stewart was there. I like that he lied to reporters when they asked him flat out if he's in the movie. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I think this was an incredible gift that we got to have Patrick Stewart as Professor X in a MCU movie.
Yeah.
I love to see it, and I'm glad they made it happen.
Oh yeah, and this is some trivia. This movie was the first time that we got any reference to Fantastic Four or X-Men in a Marvel cinematic movie. This is the first time,
right? And so they've announced Fantastic Four movie. They've announced continuations of the X-Men cartoon. But as of yet, no live-action X-Men anything has been announced.
And there's no rush. I mean, Marvel has enough properties to make movies like this for 20, 30 years. That's mind-boggling. I mean, imagine 30 years from now, like where I'm in my 70s and they're still making these movies, but they have enough material to do it. And so they probably are thinking, we can start working on Fantastic Four stuff soon, and then we can start bringing in the X-Men. They have no rush, and I think it's really smart on their part to slowly drip to fans instead of just giving up these big things because it's too much. I mean, right? Like, to be honest with you, if you're like a 20, 30-year-old person and you've never seen any Marvel, any age, if you've never seen any Marvel movie, you have no idea what's going on if you watch Multiverse of Madness, and that's going to get worse and worse the more movies they make. The more movies they make, the less people are going to know about these characters or and try to make connections. So, I mean, in some ways, they're going to have to figure that out. But at the other end, we still got these great movies that make $1 billion, so it's okay. Let's keep going.
So next we've got, is it Black Bolt? Is that
Black Bolt? Black Bolt, baby.
Okay. I mean, I could easily just think that he's some completely made-up character for this movie.
All characters made up. All characters made up.
Like Sam Raimi's like, I need some throwaway character. Let me...
No,
I'll call him Black Bolt,
It's the amount of disrespect given to King Bolter, Bolter, I think his name.
Is he an actual king?
He's a king of the Inhumans. Yes, he's an actual king. He's their leader.
Okay.
He is one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel universe. Period. Show some respect, please. Bow.
Can he really not talk to people?
Oh, he can talk, but if he did, he'd kill everything within a 10-mile radius. His voice is extremely powerful. So you saw that in the movie. He just said a couple words and it destroyed Doctor Strange. So yeah, he can speak, but he can't because his power is like unbelievably like just incredible.
So does he like do sign language or something? How does he communicate?
Sometimes he has telepaths around him. Sometimes people speak for him. Some people do. Some people he does do some form of sign language. Yes, he communicates. So it's not that difficult. In the movie, he used sign language. If you remember that, I think he made a sign about be quiet or something like that. He made a sign.
Didn't he just like put his finger over his mouth, like shh?
No, that was official sign language, but I'm not sure what it was.
Okay.
I don't know ASL. So Black Bolt and his people, the Inhumans, they are an offshoot of humanity that was kind of manipulated or kind of experimented on by the Kree. So at some point, when the Celestials, remember the Celestials from the Eternals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When the Celestials came to Earth,
huge creatures floating in space, right?
Yeah, when they experimented on humans and the Eternals and all that, the Kree noticed it and realized that human beings can be experimented and used. And the reason why they can be experimented on is because the mutant X gene. And so, Professor X has a mutant gene, the X gene. So in the Marvel comics, anybody who's born has a chance of being a mutant. What the Kree did was take those genes and manipulate them, and they created something called the Terran Mists, which were created so whenever someone's born as an Inhuman, you would walk into the mist, and either you get powers or you don't. It's just kind of a random chance. And there's some interesting things with that. Cause side note here, in the comics, at some point there was a being that was a mutant. He was born a mutant, and he was an Inhuman. But he walked into the Terran Mist anyway, which you're not supposed to do, and it gave him godlike powers. That person eventually created something called the Secret Wars, which people think is going to be the big movie event coming up. That's a side note. Really, really nerdy stuff. But there you go.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah. So Black Bolt is extremely powerful. I need to get you. There's a comic panel that I want to show you. I think I'm going to find it for you, that shows you his power at some point. Maybe
does he have any other powers other than like a powerful voice?
He can use his voice somehow to fly. I'm not sure how that works. Hang on for a second. I'm gonna try to find something. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it. It's a panel. So there's a comic panel when Black Bolt just says one word. He's fighting the Kree, and it destroys their entire home. It's like insane. It was super powerful, super impressive.
Huh. He's almost like Captain Marvel powerful then.
He's probably more powerful than that. But you can't control his powers. That's the problem. Like he can't it's just like he opens his mouth and it just comes out. So there's not much he can do.
Yeah.
But he's a super old character, super famous. Like, people love Black Bolt. And the guy who played Black Bolt in the movie was the same guy who played him in the one-off show that came out and tanked. His name is Anson Mount. So I thought that was a really good detail. I don't know how they got him to do it. This probably cut him a check. But that was a great detail.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see him in future movies either.
Maybe. I mean, the Inhumans are a whole group of people that's tied to the X-Men and the Avengers. So and the Fantastic Four. So they have ties all over. So I don't know, we might see him.
I think he's pretty silly though.
Well,
he can't talk. He can't really control his powers. I don't know, man.
Dude, it's just okay. I don't want to really get into it too deep. It's just disrespectful to say that about him. It's just and like you don't know that's disrespectful. But it super is.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, is that all the Illuminati? Did I hit them all?
You got Mr. Fantastic. You got Captain Carter. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Let's talk about that mountain that says Wanda got Wong to show her the true location of the Darkhold too easily. That was annoying to me. What about you?
He was torturing she was torturing his friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
the fate of the multiverse is at stake here.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right.
She would have got the information some way from another place.
Yeah.
And remember, she does have telepathic powers. She could have just dug into his mind at some point.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he takes her to a mountain. What's the name of that mountain?
I can't pronounce it. I never could. Can you pronounce it?
Is it Wundagore?
Yeah, that's close enough.
Okay. That's a real thing, like from the comics. That's not a completely made up name by Sam Raimi.
It is a made up name made by somebody, but not Sam Raimi.
Well,
so
okay.
So in the comics, so let's back up real far.
I was thinking how cool it would be, like if there really was a place like that on Earth. Where
I think that'd be really
on
cool.
this mountain peak, there's this huge, like, kind of temple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In the comics, we all know who,
and no one knows about it. It's just there. You know, it's obvious. It's there. It's not hidden, but nobody knows about it.
Well, there's lots of places like that in the world.
Yeah.
So in the comics, we all know who Wanda's true father is Magneto in the comics originally. And it was Wanda and her brother Pedro, who's Quicksilver. They were raised on that mountain as children. Get this, like their mother, it was like a weird village group of people. And all I know is their foster mother was like a cow, half person, half cow.
Oh, okay.
Not really sure how that works. Yeah. But this
could have been an Egyptian god.
Could have been, but this was
goddess.
This was retconned, and here's why it was retconned. At some point, Fox owned the X-Men. Marvel didn't own them, so Marvel tried to separate from the comics the X-Men. And so what happened was that the X-Men, for a while, the X-Men stories never touched the other Marvel stories, which was really annoying. At some point, they kind of fixed that. But one of the problems was they actually retconned Wanda and Pedro's parenthood, so it wasn't Magneto. That story's done. I don't know how they can fix it. I don't know if they can fix it. But in the original comics, Wanda and Pedro were mutants. But now they were the story is that they were experimented on by a guy called the High Evolutionary. Now, for fans, the High Evolutionary will be in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Not sure why, but he's going to be in there. Well, I do know why, but I won't get into that. But
spoilers, right? You don't want to give us spoilers.
Yeah, I won't give too many spoilers. But that's the whole thing with that mountain. It was where Wanda and Pietro grew up.
So remind me, because I keep kind of forgetting. How did Wanda get her powers in the MCU?
In the MCU, Wanda was... This is interesting. In the original movie, Avengers Age of Ultron, Wanda was experimented on by Hydra, and that's where she got her powers. However, in WandaVision, it was revealed that she had powers before that, but the gemstone enhanced those powers.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I keep forgetting, because it's messy.
Very, actually messy. And so, it's Wanda. Here's the deal. The Scarlet Witch, in the comics and in the movies, is a very complicated, messy character that they're doing the best they can with. But she's like, just her attitude, her powers, what she can do is very hard to explain. So again, it's kind of, because like she's a mutant. She was a mutant at one point. She learned witchcraft at one point, and then like she wasn't a mutant. She was something else. Then like, blah, blah, blah. And so there's a lot going on. And it's always going to be that way with her. That's kind of the charm. That's kind of one of the reasons why people like her so much, because she's so messy.
Yeah. All right. In Wundagore, there's these monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Are they from the comics?
Well, Chetan, how you say his name? Chthon would create creatures using the Darkhold, or the Darkhold would create creatures. There's nothing really special with them. They were just creatures. I do want to apologize to fans, because when the trailer came out, I did say that they looked like they were working together. I was obviously wrong. That trailer was expertly cut, by the way. Those trailers were so well. These are the best trailers I've ever seen, because those trailers showed a lot, but also didn't show us anything.
Yeah, and it's not like the Spider-Man trailer, at least as far as I can tell, where like the Spider-Man trailer they removed people from some scenes.
No, they just cut stuff really well.
I don't think they did any of that. They just cut stuff really well and really fast.
And there was one scene where Wong is hanging onto the mountain in the trailers, and he's like, "Strange!" He screams Strange's name, and it sounds like he's like mad. But in the movie, Wong screams it, and then he's happy because he sees Strange back. Because after he screams it, he starts laughing. That's just a really, really well cut trailer. It's just kind of phenomenal. Makes me feel foolish. But anyway, that's Mount Wendigore. I know who you're going to ask about next, and that's Rentra.
Who is Rentra?
He is a being from a different. He's an extra dimensional being from a planet called Ravel, and at some point he finds Doctor Strange and becomes his friend and becomes a sorcerer himself. That's pretty much it. He actually stayed. He actually lived with him for a while.
Who is Rentra in the movie?
You saw him, didn't you? You saw
for
him.
Our listeners.
He was a guy with big horns. He's like a bull person, a green bull person.
Okay, what scene's that?
When Ron is about to attack, he's like front and center. He's talking to Wong. Did you watch the movie? Did you sleep?
So this is at the beginning when Wanda first attacks Kamar-Taj.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got.
Is there anybody else in the movie, not in any of the end credit scenes, that you really think we should know some stuff about?
I think I covered everything pretty well. Okay. But again,
I'm doing a second pass here through the top cast on IMDb.
Yeah, I got everybody. Everybody's good. These show notes are perfect.
Okay, there is. I don't know why. I don't know why the person that played Maria Rambo isn't in the top cast, but this guy is. Charlie Norton as the Weasel.
I have no idea who that is.
I don't remember him from the movie at all, and I don't remember anybody called the Weasel.
I don't know. Maybe I have to go back.
They should have had Pauly Shore play that.
Maybe I have to go back and check it out. I don't know. Anyway, we got one more character.
Who's the one more character?
Clea.
Yes, this is the mid-credit scene.
Yes.
Doctor Strange is out for a stroll. He gets tapped on the shoulder, I guess, by some strange lady.
No, she just yells his name.
Oh, yells his name? Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, from across the street, he has to walk back and meet her. And he takes off his scarf and immediately transforms his outfit back into his wizard garb. Or, I'm sorry, he's not a wizard. He's a sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So who's Clea? I have no idea who this woman is.
All right. So Clea is Doctor Strange's longtime love interest. She actually was in Strange Tales number 126 back in 1964. She's been here for a while. And this is pretty much the only woman that Doctor Strange has ever loved. So remember, the Rachel McAdams character is not from the comics. She's straight up from the movie, but Clea is from the comics. Okay. A couple of notable things about Clea. Her father and her mother were servants of Dormammu. Do you remember that name?
Yeah, Dormammu. He's from
Doctor Strange 1. Doctor Strange 1. Okay. Remember, he's a Dormammu. I came here to bargain, and he has a kind of a temporal fight with him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you watch the movie, and remember when Clea cuts, she takes some kind of wand and she opens up a portal. Did you see that? Did you watch the movie, Mike? I'm seriously thinking I don't think you did.
This is in the mid-credit scene. She takes out a wand.
Stop right now. We'll go to YouTube. We're gonna go to YouTube and we're gonna watch this again. Go to Doctor Strange mid-credit scene.
It's on YouTube?
Of course it's on YouTube.
Isn't that illegal?
Yeah. Mid-credits. It's already there. I can find it. Yep, I see it. I'm looking at it currently. Want me to send you a link?
No, I got it. Hang on.
Go to the one. It should be one that's like 46 seconds long.
All right.
Are you watching it?
I'm watching it.
Okay, so Doctor Strange is walking. He turns around. There's
she slices open a portal to the next.
Okay, now look at what she. You see the world when she opens it. What's it look like?
Dormammu.
It is the art assets from the Dormammu scene from Doctor Strange 1. Yeah.
It is.
It is.
Huh.
So that's really good on MCU's part, on the directors and the writers, everybody's part. I mean, that's
Oh yeah, she's got like a. Did you say she had a pencil?
it's like a little dagger or something.
Okay, yeah, it does look like a dagger.
Yeah, but that's some really good details. So she definitely has a connection to Dormammu, and we probably will see that in the movie in Doctor Strange 3 whenever it comes out. So the thing about Clea is there was a couple times where Clea and Doctor Strange were trying to get together. At one point, Clea decides to leave, and she goes and actually fights Dormammu. She's like, I'd rather, and she actually wins, and she becomes like the empress of that dimension. And she would rather become the ruler of the dark dimension than to be married to Doctor Strange, which is kind of funny. But then at some point, they do get married. But then it's like, I don't really want to be with you, blah, blah, blah. In the comics, Doctor Strange dies. He's killed. And Clea actually becomes the new Doctor Strange. So currently in the comics, she is actually Doctor Strange.
Is she Doctor Strange or is she the Sorcerer Supreme?
She's the Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange, which is the same
Weird.
thing.
That's so strange.
Why? What's strange about that?
Because Doctor Strange is his name.
Well, they got married. So her name is Clea Strange. His name is Stephen Strange.
Was she also a doctor?
She's a doctor. She went to medical school. I don't.
Okay. All right. She has a PhD. Okay. All right.
She has a PhD in dark magic stuff.
Right.
I think she might just go by the name Strange. She might not go by Doctor Strange. She might just go by Strange.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I think she goes. I don't think she goes by Doctor. I think she just calls herself Strange. Anyway,
nice,
there you go.
Nice.
So she's gonna be really important for the movies because if you watch Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which I don't think you did, if you watch the movie, you can tell that he's getting over his relationship. Right? He's like, he's letting Rachel McAdams go. He's like, you know what? I love you forever. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, he fixed his watch. He finally fixed his watch.
He moves on. And then he meets Clea, which is definitely going to be his love interest moving forward.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think about that third eye?
I have not done enough research on the third eye to talk about it just yet. But we have all seen the third eye stuff from chakras and like yoga and everything else. I don't know enough about it to talk about what it could foretell for the future storylines. I don't want to get too deep into that. Maybe I'll do it as another point. But I thought it was really cool. And I like the fact that Doctor Strange embraced it. He was like, I have a third eye. Let's just live with it. It's really nice.
Okay. Where do you think it came from? Any idea?
As far as the lexicon of the movie?
Yeah.
Well, the dark Doctor Strange had one. And it's probably from using the Darkhold. That's just,
right.
And I mean, Doctor Strange did use a Darkhold.
Oh, he did use it, right? When he
dreamwalked into the zombie body of himself from another dimension. It's going to cause you some problems, It's not going It's going to cause you some issues.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I got one last question for you.
Oh, please.
One last question for
Nail
you.
it.
How can people spread the word about this podcast?
Are we done?
Are we?
You don't have any other questions or anything?
No, that's it.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, good. I want to say one final thing.
Okay. This
is after I did the show notes, I realized that this is the most ambitious superhero movie they've made. I think, but then if you watch these movies enough, you're starting to see a pattern. If you look at Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, if you look at Spider-Man No Way Home, if you look at Avengers Endgame, these movies had huge ensemble casts. I think people should prepare themselves for that moving forward because now Marvel knows how to make those. And so I think that we're like the days of having a few cast members and making the movies done. We're going to see a lot more of these big casts. Even if they do play a small role in the movie, we're going to see a lot more of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so what was your question?
Yeah, how can people spread the word about the podcast?
A couple different things, a couple different ways. First, I think they should get their phone currently. If they have an iPhone, they can go to contacts. And I think there's a way where you can send a message to everybody in your contacts. you should do that and just send a link to the Super Sideshow podcast to them. Just send it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit the share button right now.
Yeah, hit the share button. That's the share button.
Okay.
When you hit the share button, who do you send things to?
Friends, group chats, Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can do all that.
Yeah. I send it to my wife
Instagram,
usually.
maybe.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Friends.
Yeah, friends. Yeah. Your mom?
Schoolmates.
I don't like.
Maybe you're a student. Maybe you go to school right now, and
some of my students do find me because they Google me, so they do find the podcast when they do that.
Yeah.
Which I
just found out that some of my son's friends are listening. So
no way!
Shout out to my son's friends. Yeah.
Hey, shout out to your son's friends.
Yeah.
Hey, son's friends, send us questions.
Yeah, we're on Twitter at Super Sideshow.
Hey, Mike, what's our next podcast about?
I've got some ideas. I think what we're going to do next is, we've been talking about this for a while, and I'm sure people are really looking forward to it because it's super exciting. Is you've got an eye for the men of the MCU.
I do.
I know you're a married man. You've got a wife. But you're really able to pick out the handsome men in the MCU. So I think it's been a long time coming. I think our next thing will be you ranking the handsome men of the MCU.
I'm going to really work hard on this. It's going to take a long time. It's going to be difficult to do.
Yeah.
There's so many
There's a lot.
men. Yeah, there's so many good-looking men.
Like, does Baron Mordo even show up?
He will be on the list, of course.
He will be on the list? Okay.
See,
I'm not as good at this as you are.
Is he as handsome? It's like we have some early heavy hitters, heavy hitters. We have Steve Rogers, we have Thor. And I'm talking about their characters. I'm not talking about the actors. I'm talking about the characters on the MCU. The actors, not too worried about them. But but how the actors portray these characters.
Yeah, because it's as they appear in the movie, so it's got to be the character, not the actor.
It's a little different. So does Tony Stark? He's a little older. Does he stand out? Will I be in love with a robot? Do you think the Vision deserves some attention?
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't know. Is this?
Well, you know what? We'll have to listen to that podcast and find out.
It's gonna be hard, really difficult. Lots of fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
That's gonna be a great one. I'm looking forward to it. Long time coming.
All right, listeners, thanks a lot. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Follow, subscribe, share. Do it.